Stephon Diggs throws his helmet on the sidelines when he doesn't get targets. Terrell Owens spits in the faces of quarterbacks guarding him. Antonio Brown did, I don't even know where to start. At a position with the biggest divas to put on a football jersey, how on earth does that explain Larry Fitzgerald, who, if he is not the highest character guy in the league, he is most certainly one of them? Well, here is his story. Larry Fitzgerald grew up in Minneapolis, the same city George Floyd was killed, but Fitzgerald does say he does not recognize it any longer. As he writes in an essay for the New York Times, he says, "The events of the last several days have turned Minneapolis and our nation upside down. Injustice, death, destruction, pain, violence, protests, and riots have made it clear. We as a nation are not okay. We are not healthy." In his childhood in Minneapolis, Larry's mother would volunteer him at many local charities to improve his community. So the values of helping others instead of just helping himself started very young for him. On the football field, as we all know, he started out as a ball boy, thanks to his father, who was a sports writer in Minnesota. The wide receivers for the Vikings at that time were Chris Carter and Randy Moss, maybe the best wide receiver duo ever. That's pretty good inspiration for a young wide receiver. After being drafted 3rd overall by the Cardinals, many thought this to be a reach at the time. Coach Dennis Green, who was a coach on Minnesota when Fitzgerald was a ball boy, did not. Some would say it's paid off for the Cardinals. The discipline and work ethic of Larry Fitzgerald is unreal. This will be his 17th NFL season. The only players with more seasons in the NFL that are still playing are Tom Brady and Drew Brees. Oh, and Adam Vinatieri if someone signs him. Teammates describe Fitzgerald as constantly looking to improve on each individual play or skill set, as he recognizes that no task done or NFL player will execute to perfection. Although no NFL player will ever be perfect, Fitzgerald has as close to perfect hands as there is in the NFL. On 2,263 targets, Fitzgerald has 29 drops. Two things that brings this into perspective: this drop percentage is just under 1.3%. Amari Cooper, the NFL's highest paid wide receiver, has a drop rate of 6.7%. Also, to compare his 29 drops, Fitzgerald has 39 career tackles. All this too with some relatively booty quarterback talent in Arizona depending on the year. Here are some quarterbacks who have thrown in passes: Kevin Kolb, John Skelton, Derek Anderson. If Larry Fitzgerald continues at his career average of receptions per game, it will take exactly 2 NFL seasons to break Jerry Rice's record of career receptions, assuming he stays healthy. And it couldn't happen to a better guy. Teammates describe him as the best teammate they've ever had, and opponents describe him as nice of an opponent as you could find. Larry Fitzgerald does much to support the community, including his First Down Fund and celebrity softball game to raise money for over 300 charities. He doesn't just stop at raising money, he also invests his own time interacting with many of the people these organizations are meant to provide for. This led him to receive the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award. Fitzgerald gives a speech saying, "I don't think anyone goes out to seek attention for things you do off the field. I think it's something you're supposed to do. But to be recognized as one of the guys who does the right thing in the National Football League means a great deal to me, to my community, to my organization, and sets a great example to my teammates." Here are some more excerpts from Fitzgerald's essay to the New York Times. The screams of disrespected voices are ringing out in the nation right now. We must never condone violent riots that take lives and destroy futures, but we must also hear the desperate voice of protest that is calling out for justice. He did go on to add that members of law enforcement that have spoken out against injustice also deserve to be heard. The unthinkable acts of some do not require that we paint the whole with broad brushstrokes of hatred. In a time where so much of America seems set on dividing in one fashion or another, Fitzgerald is set on uniting and listening. This is the way progress is made. For more videos, including the story of how George Kittle almost partied himself out of football and the NBA's original Colin Kaepernick, check out the videos on the screen and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more stories about the stars of the NFL.
Cross the plain.